I might be greasy. Also, it's really funny you guys are talking about pie, because during the 3 minutes or whatever that the stream's been live, but I haven't been on it, I was eating pie. Pie. World record last week. We got 2 copyright infringements. How impressive is that? You guys ready to get sad? This feeling has a tinge of sorrow to it. Sometimes it tries to wash ashore. I got it out for me, for anybody. I'm angry and I don't know why anymore. Fear is on the rise again. It filters out the sun. Fear is on the rise again. It's poison until it's done. Usually play that on a piano. Anyway. How crazy is it? Buongiorno. There's cake? Seriously, though, the dimmer switch is broken. I have pie, but I don't know how I'm going to get it to you guys. Apologies for that. Warm apple pie and vanilla ice cream. Oh, yeah. Bill James has a pecan tree in the backyard. Nice. I didn't bring coffee, but I brought Marionberry. I'm here. Are you? It's pecan, or pecans sometimes, when it is. Wiggy's not here. He's there. If you were here, then you wouldn't be there. Whatever. Anyway, it's fine. Milk bars and snack bars. I was eating pie because I'm really hungry. Been working all day for some reason. Busted Radio Garage is with us again and says, hello, Jamie in chat. Bell James says it's pecan. Nice. Scooter's with us and says, hello from space, Mr. Dead Dodge Man. Hope all the Facebook Marketplace doesn't annoy you. It actually does. It's never ending. It's ridiculous. My sister said that. Lovejoy says, I'm not present. I'm actually in Nebraska, believe it or not. I do believe it. You're always somewhere. I'm sure you'll all notice this is getting kind of out of hand. There's quite a bit of it. Anyway, I skipped this part of the intro. This is Dead Dodge Garage Live, the Super Boring Sunday special, where we talk about Dodges and other things. Nebraska. And sometimes we get copyright infringement dings from YouTube. And we play the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game. And apparently there are 51 of you out there, so if you haven't done this, please hit like on the stream, because it does stuff for the thing with the deal. Let me know what you're working on this weekend, which of your brothers you're swearing at, and let me know if you have any questions. Ooh, or thoughts on this weekend's videos. 2 half-hour-long features. One on the Challenger, just like driving it around and trying not to do burnouts. And one on Ralph's Charger, which I personally thought was awesome. Sad? I like it. Well, that is good news. Scooter says, I should ride my scooter over. I know where you are, sir. Well, you can, but the dogs will get very upset. Just ask my sister. Disco Mobile is here with us again. Hello, Disco Mobile. How you doing? Jolly Wrencher is with us and says, non-Mopar guy from Minnesota here. Welcome. And then, of course, we've got Mr. PF Flyer, Mopar guy from Minnesota here. Scooter will bring bush latte, only the finest of refreshments. Very nice. Nick Durkins is here again. How's it going, Nick? I think I was just talking to you about something, but now I don't remember what it was. Hemi swap? Might have been a Hemi swap. Bobby C is with us. Hello, Bobby C. How you doing? And Dan Tupper as well. 710 Caps with us again and says, okay, I'm here. Go away. No one invited you. What are your other 2 wishes? Oh, I feel like I should know that, but anyway. Oh, good. Scooter will be sending me 20 times the Facebook Marketplace listings. That's just great. Great. Frederico Molina wants to know, could you do a backflip in the Bluesmobile? I couldn't, but I bet the Blues Brothers could. They were on a mission from God, after all. The band! OGDC says, I forgot to mention, I have a 70 Charger RT440 Magnum. Well, you don't have to rub it in. Did you know the parking light housing is grounded to the valence by the 2 lower screws, and it's actually the same as the 70 to 74 Challenger? I know they're bigger in 70. Are they actually the same light as the Challenger? That I didn't know. But yes, they're grounded by those screws. I actually learned that on the 71, Red 71, because I wired the whole damn thing. And I thought they had a ground wire. There was an extra connection on there that looked like a ground connection. Of course, it was black. Why wouldn't it be? So I grounded it and immediately blew the running light fuse. And then I learned that they're just grounded through the housing, which is really weird because it's some weird, it's like a composite material, but there must be a metal strap cast into it. So the more you know. So yeah, I just found that out. And actually on Ralph's Charger, if you noticed in the footage of it driving over the bridge, the passenger side running light in the valence is a little dimmer. And the reason it's dimmer is because the screws are loose. You need to remember to tighten those. Elliot Urea, I'm assuming, is with us and says, hi, Jamie. Question, electric fuel pump or mechanical? What's your take? My take is mechanical wherever possible. It's simple. It's easy to find a replacement. It's easier to get to than an electric that you usually put down under the floor by the tank. Because if you put them in the engine compartment, they're not going to live long and happy lives usually. And it just ain't right, you know. I much prefer the simplicity of the mechanical pump. They usually work great. You don't have pressure problems. They just do the thing they're supposed to do. Excuse me. In some cases, you got to run the electric, and it is what it is. But yeah, I'm all in on mechanical. Everything I have, including my drag car, is a mechanical pump. Lovejoy says, all right, you can have a little copyright strike as a treat. Bobby C says 75 D100, great videos. I did one on a 75 D100 a long time ago. It was very small. It was a cool little truck. I saw them recently. God, I'm super bad with names. The gal that owns it and her husband, I ran into them at a car show, and they recognized me. Nick Turkett says, Ready Charger video got 2,000 views in 5 hours. Yes, and the number you see on the live site always lags behind. I don't know why. They just don't constantly update them. But as of now, if it'll load, 2,800. And that's pretty good, but I will say it actually puts it in 4th out of my last 10 videos. And that's not because it's bad. It's really good, I think. It's just because I've had some videos that were doing fairly well recently. Most of them are kind of in that same neighborhood. And I'm happy with that. Ross says, working on my house, I did lean a sheet of subfloor on my W300. Does that count? Sure. Dags? I like Dags. I won't even bring Al. He may bring the peanut butter. Please don't bring Al. I see him enough. Glenn Uromi is with us and says, hi, Jamie. Love the Challenger video. Still having major electrical issues with my Roadrunner. How hard is it to replace an entire wiring harness? It's not too bad. The dash section kind of sucks, but you can pull the cluster out, and that makes it easier. Yeah, I mean, I've done a few of them. I would definitely recommend you do a factory type plug and play, restoration grade harness. I wouldn't do one of the universal ones. I did a whole video about that. Usually your problems are fixable, and I do try to push people away from just replacing all the wiring. But, if it's all crunchy, you might as well. The dash section is a little on the spendy side. I mean, you're going to spend about $1,000 for all of it, but it's just the best way to go. Excuse me. And says, anybody got a line on an A833 that will work on a 1980 D150? I think B body is what will work. Yeah, you want the BE unit. It could have been factory in that truck, an aluminum overdrive. I think they use the B body shifter mount. I'm pretty sure they do. I think all of those late ones, van and truck, you can find them in vans, by the way, same transmission. I think they all use the B body shifter position with a different bracket, and the E body shifter position at the back isn't drilled. But you can use an earlier iron 1-to-1 unit out of a BE body, 70 E body, 71B to 74, and that'll work exactly the same. I have a truck bell housing, but I don't have a transmission. Well, I have a 3-speed, but that's probably not what you want. Anyway, yeah, BE body is what you want. David Biznett is with us and says, what company do you prefer when buying a fuel tank, straps, sending unit, and hardware? Thanks. Where'd my last one come from? I don't know. Tom ordered it. I don't know who the heck he uses for regular factory replacements, and he's not winning with us yet. So I'm not sure. Hold on. I just did one, but I can't remember who made it. I mean, you can get them off Summit. Spectra makes them. They're fine. That's probably what it is. OER, it's probably exactly the same tank. They're all over the place. Auto Metal Direct, the AMD apparently makes one as well, which is not going to be the same as the Spectra tank. I think most of them are all going to be the same crap, and they're fine. The problem you're going to have is and same with straps. Like, it doesn't matter. The problem you're going to have is with sending unit stuff. It just doesn't. The sending units just suck. We just did this. So I did a replacement tank in the 67 Barracuda because Tom just ordered it for me and I gave him money, and that was nice and easy. I put a float and a screen, sock, pickup, whatever, on the factory sending unit, only to find out that the whole tube moved in it and it leaked gas. So we just put a reproduction one in it yesterday, and it was just very difficult to get to fit right. And we were even using the original lock ring because the reproduction lock rings are absolute garbage. Whatever you do, save your original lock ring. And if you can, clean up your sending unit and save it too. It's not a bad idea, but if it's disintegrating, you don't have a choice. But yeah, anyway, like I say, most of them, like Summit sells it. It's kind of just all the same thing. You can get it from Classic. It costs more for basically the same stuff. There you go. Just a quick cursory Google search brought up, 10 different companies selling them for an A body, for example. So not a problem. Did you hear the duck noises? It's very impressive. I thought you were too fat to fly. HDF2 is with us again and says, what up, DDG? Funny vids as always. Chargers never get old to look at. No, they do not. I always, and thank you, by the way. I always wanted and never thought that I could get to a point in life where I'm just playing with chargers all the time. That's what I always wanted. So all that worked out. Oh, that's on 68B body. But again, same stuff. It really doesn't matter. Fuel tank. Jegs carries it. I don't know what brand that is. There's OER. They've got it. Sherman sells one. Tanks Inc. is really good. I was going to say that. I like Tanks Inc., but usually what we get from them are the EFI conversion ones. Magnum Force sells one of those as well, but it is insanely expensive. Just absolutely ridiculous. Oh. Danberg was with us, but apparently his watching device is all goofed up, so hopefully he makes it back. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Nobody says, thank you for your courage. Well, yeah. For the grams! Donnie says, my dad wants to know, where did you learn to play guitar? I actually kind of covered this a week or two ago, but I started out really, really bad just teaching myself on an acoustic, and I figured out how to play Smoke on the Water like this. And then my friend's dad said, dude, power chords, come on. Oh, that's not even right. Dude, come on. So I took that and ran with it, and I learned all the Nirvana songs and the simple rock and roll and what have you. And then not long after that, I went to my grandma's for the summer, and she sent me to guitar lessons where I learned the pentatonic scale, the minor scale, the major scale, mostly the pentatonic blues scale, and how to play Eruption really badly. It's really hard to do on an acoustic. Yeah, and I just kind of took that and made it happen, basically. That 1 week of lessons is really all that I ever got. Other than that, fully self-taught, reading tabs, watching videos, and, back when YouTube was new. Just getting out and doing it, basically, just like everything else. Crashes Roadrunner Garage is here and says, another Mopar guy from Minnesota. We got all kinds of guys in Minnesota tonight. Wiggy says, I did a group scooter ride out with Michigan Scooter Geeks today. We went to a downriver donut shop and an orchard, so that was fun. Sounds awesome. And did I mention I'm hungry? What's my brother doing? I thought he was making pizza. Apparently not. Oh, yeah, if I didn't mention this, we spent most of the day working on his 67 Barracuda, which is not what I meant to do today. I did make some more progress on the 273, but I'm not ready to reassemble it just yet. I'm working on the Hone right now. I wanted to work on the Valiant, but that hasn't happened. Obviously finishing up the Charger Friday, all kinds of things. Anyway, it's fine. Many videos. I need to bank another 2 to 3 videos, like with a quickness, because allegedly I'm not going to be here next weekend. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I still really want a donut. 75 of you out there, if you have any questions or comments about this weekend's videos or that sort of thing, go ahead and drop them. And if you would, excuse me, please hit the like button on the stream because it does stuff for the thing with a deal. Kelly Smith is with us and says, hello from Canada. Hello from not quite Canada. I can't see it from here, but it's not far. Ross says 72 to 80 pickup taillights are the same way. That's interesting. I didn't know that. A good few things are grounded through the screws like that. Gauge cluster comes to mind. But, cool. I should know that. Bobby C says, question, 75 D100, 318. I'm running a Holley carb. It surges at idle. Could that be the power valve? Well, it could be. In my experience, when you blow a power valve, it's also going to be like chugging probably black smoke. If you just barely rev it, it'll just run like garbage. Turning the idle screws all the way in won't kill it, probably. In fact, it might run better. Yeah. You can unbolt the carb, lift it up, and you'll see the power valve port toward the front. If it's just dribbling gas out of it, that's your guy. But, before assuming that's it, check your idle screw settings. They should be about, lightly buried and then 2-hole turns out-ish. And verify your timing is at least in the realm of reasonability. But yeah, I mean, it's possible for sure. A float adjustment too. I mean, if your floats are super high and there's a ton of extra fuel in there, that could do weird stuff. So check the basics. Rich Jordan says, I'm seriously considering running extra ground wires front to back into the various light housings. Grounds are too important to trust to body screws and the chassis itself. I totally disagree. Make sure you got a good ground strap, and usually it's totally fine. I mean, occasionally, like on the 67 Barracuda, we did recently have a problem where the one light wouldn't ground through the metal. But there's a reason for that. And the reason was that chunk of the car was like brazed on from another car, and I don't think there's a path to ground. So we added a wire. But generally it's fine. Now on my Power Wagon, I recently did run a ground all the way back. But first off, I was using 4-wire trailer harness stuff. And also it's not attached to the frame in any way, and I needed a ground wire. So, you know, there's that. That's actually a common thing with old pickups. They were mounted on wood, so there's no ground. But anyway, usually you're fine, you know, as long as your ground strap is good. The chassis is a fine ground. Yeah, the screws, you can have corrosion in those locations and stuff, but usually it's fine. So I wouldn't go to all that trouble, but, you know, it's your call. Donnie says, did you see Barrick? Son of a bitch. Derek built an LS 318 monstrosity. That thing is pumping out some serious horsepower. Yeah, I started watching it. It was really weird for me because he's doing an engine swap in a Duster. He took out a Slant 6. He's modifying the K-frame for Schumacher mounts and dropping in a V8. And we have done that a good few times. And specifically, the first one we did was a Duster. In fact, a same year Duster. And that was back in 2010, 11? I don't even know. So yeah, just watching him do that, it was like a really weird flashback for me. But anyway, yeah, I didn't get to seeing what the engine actually does, but it's interesting. You know, I'm not going to run out and do it myself, but it's an interesting idea. He posted pictures of that on the InstaTubes a while back, and I had questions. Cool stuff, though. Yeah, it's almost 500 horsepower out of it. Well, it's stroked, so it's 351 cubic inches. But yeah, it's good stuff. David Bisnet says, like the Challenger video. Hey, I need a 10. Oh, yeah. Okay, we did that. And thank you. SC308 is here and says, greetings from South Carolina. I don't know if this is before Dan Berg's system died or after, but Dan Berg said, and remember. Evening, everyone. I need to start writing down more and remembers. I'm kind of out of them. Jolly Rancher says, I disagree with your vacuum advance advice. Manifold good. Ported is factory emissions, Band-Aid crap. Great. So you watched Junkyard Necromancer's video, and you're saying exactly the words he said. Here's the thing. Yes and no. The distributors that we have in that era of car are configured for that. If you just switch from ported to manifold vacuum and adjust your timing curve, when you hit the throttle, all of that vacuum advance goes away and your car falls on its face. In a system that is configured for that, yeah, great, awesome. But you can't just switch it over and expect it to work well. It's not going to. It's not going to work right. And I can't tell you how many times I have fixed this over the years. The worst one I've seen is the Chevy HEI with it run to manifold vacuum and then the timing set. When you hit it, it just falls on its face. It coughs. It does bad stuff. Bad stuff happens. They're not configured to work that way. Manifold vacuum for your advance can work well under the right circumstances with the right amount of advance available in that vacuum can. But like that Charger, the vacuum advance had 17 degrees. Okay, so if I connect the vacuum advance to manifold, there's 17 degrees of advance in that distributor right there, just from that. Okay, so say I need the base timing to be 15 degrees. I need to time that distributor at 2 degrees after, right? 2 degrees after. Take the 17. Now we're at 15 degrees. Cool. Until you hit the throttle. And then it all goes away. The mechanical advance isn't happening yet. The vacuum advance goes away. And now it's not all going to go away, but it's going to be between 2 degrees after and 5 degrees to 10 degrees before at best. That's not a good horsepower situation. It's not going to work. So, yes, that can work if configured properly. But we cannot tell people with a regular distributor in a muscle era car, oh, just connect your vacuum advance to manifold. It'll work great, because it won't. Okay? Got it? I think we're all good on that. I'm going to do a video addressing this in more detail. And I'm going to explain the situations in which you're absolutely right. Because there can be. There can be. But generally speaking, no. Yeah, what he said. Rant over. Elliot says, thanks for the answer. Is a 318 enough for a 74 SE Charger? Should I consider bigger? That really depends on your definition of enough. You can get plenty out of a 318. You know, they're great engines and I love them. And it will do burnouts if it's running correctly. You know, it might get halfway decent fuel economy, by which I mean mid-teens, you know, not amazing, but they're great for a driver. We had a 72 Satellite with a 318 and it was nothing special. And it would burn the one tire everywhere it went. It was great fun. It got good fuel economy. It fit the whole family. We drove it to Reno to get married one year. It's super cool, you know, so a 318 can get you a really long way. If you want a muscle car, yeah, consider bigger, I guess. But, you know, I like the 318. I like small blocks in general. I'm definitely not going to tell you throw it away, get a Hemi, get a 440. I'm not going to do that. 318s can do a lot. It's your life. But me, I'd be sticking with that. I'd do a Performer manifold. I'd do maybe Magnum exhaust manifolds. They work pretty well. Or maybe a good set of headers. Little modifications. Nice small Carter 4-barrel. You could change the cam. You could do a basic head port job. You know, there's a lot you could do to make that 318 work well. Ducks. I don't know that. Excuse me. Glenn Urome says, thank you for the response and for pronouncing my last name correctly. You're welcome. I do my best. It's certainly not always 100%, but by God, I try. 94 of you out there now. If you have any thoughts on the Great Vacuum Advance debate, feel free to drop those. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, etc. What do you think of ratty Chargers? What do you think about 69 Chargers? There might be another one of those coming to the channel soon. Ross says, instead of the 883, consider an NP445. Synchronized first, tolerance second and third, built for the truck. Now, is the 445... Yes, yeah, synchronized first. I'm a lot more familiar with the 435, which is non-synchronized granny first. Those... The dogs are super excited about life. Unsynchronized granny gear in first, but it works. The 445 is not a granny gear, is it? I've heard of that one, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know what's going on. Anywho, yeah, but the 435 is a great truck transmission too, but not as much for a 100. It's great for like a working truck. First gear is almost useless. But the 445 is probably better. I think those are harder to find, though. I don't think I've ever seen one, frankly. I'm trying to find an NP 542 or something in the 540 series. It's a similar case, but it's got an overdrive gear. Not all of them do. My wife's making funny looks at me. But yeah, anyway. But Ross, the 833 was... You said 883, but it's 833. Anyway, 833 was a factory piece of equipment in those trucks in the 80s. Tom just sent me a message. Whites. Went to start car. Turned over 3 times and nothing except... Oh. Wiggle shifter? Wiggle shifter. Anyway, yeah, they were original equipment in half-ton trucks, half-ton pickups. Makes good sense too. Good transmission for that, kind of, except for the horrible gear spacing. 710 Cap says, why is the factory Mopar kickdown rod at the carb slotted for the stud? What does the slot allow the stud to do? It seems like just a hole would work. It would, and the cables have just a hole. I've heard it explained as being for if the linkage sticks, the carb, the throttle won't stick open. I guess that makes sense. I have a theory that there may be something hydraulic in the transmission that can hold that linkage in certain conditions. I don't know that to be fact. I have no idea. It's just how they are. But they're not in later years. Maybe they are still slotted. Yeah, actually, even the Cummins trucks, the VE pump Cummins trucks is still slotted. It's a slotted cable, incidentally. Yeah, so I don't really know that. I kind of talked about it in the kickdown video. Several people wanted to say, oh, it's so if the linkage sticks, it doesn't hold the throttle open. And maybe that's it. I don't know. Why would the linkage stick, though? No idea. G-Bob Beluba wants to know, what do you think a rebuilt 3D3 two-barrel and a rebuilt 727 is worth? I bought them, pulled the heads off the 3D3 to verify. Sure enough. Then I pulled the pan and a couple of rod caps. Good. Nice. Honestly, I'm not sure. They're both rebuilt. I mean, the trans is probably worth, I'm going to say minimum 5, maybe 8, maybe, I don't know. Minimum $500. To go pay a company to have one done is a couple grand, but that doesn't mean that's worth sitting there. Engine 3D3s used to be a dime a dozen. I don't really think that's the case anymore. I wouldn't know where to find one if I needed one right now. Rebuilt is cool. Still without like receipts and paper trail and this is who built it. It was done professionally, yada, yada. You can't expect like crate motor money, but I'm going to say 15 to 2 grand for the pair. Maybe that might even be a little bit optimistic. I just don't know. I'm thinking transmission 500 to 800 and engine 800 to 1200, something like that. I mean, it's good stuff. You got to find the person that needs that. Knowing what year it is might help because someone might be missing their, numbers matching engine, but want one similar. Yes, dear.
Can I go to the park with AJ?
Well, who else is going?
AJ's dad.
Okay. All right.
Okay, bye.
Don't be gone long. Bye.
Yeah, I got you some flowers.
Oh, it's beautiful. Woo! They're falling apart. No!
I picked them off the flower tree.
The flower tree. You mean the rose bush?
Yes.
Ava picked me flowers. Thanks, Ava. I'll put them on the bar. Okay, have fun. Don't be gone long. Okay, bye-bye. That's my best thought on that. Oh, yeah. I thought we did this last week, UN50. Maybe that's why he's just looking for a transmission. He has the Overdrive 833. Yeah, okay, you just want a 1-to-1 4-speed. Yeah, so it's BE body 70 to 74. They'll have the correct shift positions. Verify the shifter was on the front pad on yours. If it was, you can use the earlier B body transmission too. So that's going back to 65-ish. Should be a slip yoke. 64 isn't. Donnie's testing that. Okay, Jolly Rancher's on board with me. Yes, I agree. Vacuum Advance needs to be tuned for the application. Yes, absolutely. And if it is, there is totally a benefit. There are several applications where that would be really useful. And I talked about one of them in that video, my Demon, because I have a pinging situation, in lower RPM where if I had the Vacuum Advance tuned that way, I could pull timing away by hitting the throttle and then it would come back in. So yeah, it could work. But if I were just to take a stock distributor and hook it up that way, it ain't going to work. So that's my thoughts on that. It's yes, but. So there you go. Rich Jordan says, I haven't been able to find a 100% accurate 71 Challenger fuel tank. The repros don't have the internal expansion tank that was standard that year, but Spectra tank physically fits fine and works. Yeah, I've never seen anyone reproduce that. I know it exists because the one we took out of the Red 71, we installed a fuel injected tank. The one we took out has a sticker on there that says that, which is really interesting. Nick Durkitz wants to know, what is your least favorite Mopar? Dodge Caravan? Like all of them? Okay, let's limit that to muscle era. Because it just seems really easy to say K-car. I don't like F-bodies. I feel like I've made that quite apparent. Other people love them, but I don't. But that's still not really muscle era. It's a little late. I don't know. I kind of like all of them. And there are some that I used to think were not cool that now I'm kind of into. That is a tough one to answer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stick with my first answer. Dodge Caravan. Oh, Danberg's back. Oh, no. Glass is good and broke. That is unfortunate. Jim, I want to say Pat Node or Pat Node, perhaps, says, greetings from Vermont. Greetings from very far from Vermont. Joe's Mopar Mess is back with us. It says, any tips to tighten the door latch on a 66B body? Currently, the door will move about an inch when fully closed and latched. Are you sure it's fully latched? Because it shouldn't do that. You might be, okay, so there are two latch positions. There's like half latched and fully latched. So you might not be getting the full latch position. It's actually only half latched, and that's why it moves. There should be no adjustment to that. And I don't think with it in the fully latched position, they do wear, and as do the strikers. Not like some strikers and more modern rigs do, but they do wear. But even with them worn to hell, you're not going to get an inch of movement. So I wonder if it's a striker adjustment problem where the door is actually hitting the body before it ever fully latches, and that's why you're getting the movement. That would be my guess. Now, 66B body is the weird Star Wheel one. But I think the same applies. I haven't screwed with them a whole lot. But yeah, that it's probably that. You're probably not actually fully latched. It's acting like it is, but it isn't. That would be my assumption. You could also have a defective latch. Stephen Edwards wants to know, with winter coming up, is there any winterizing you do to your cars? Thanks. No, I'm in a very mild climate area. We get below freezing occasionally. We've seen in the teens a few times, but that's very rare. The only one I'm worried about at all is my Demon. I run water in that because it goes to a drag strip. No antifreeze in it. And I could, there are other things I could put in it, waterless coolant or whatever, and things like that. But that might promote or fight against freezing better. I don't know. But anyway, I've got water in that one. Last year, I think I just drained it and called it good. And this year I'll probably drain it, put it up on the lift and leave it there. We'll see. But beyond that, no, there's really nothing I do. I mean, most of like my cars, I'll still drive on winter days if it's decent enough. I don't, I haven't driven the Charger in the snow yet. I've driven some of the other ones in the snow. But no, around here, I just don't seem to have to worry about it. I should be doing like annual fluid changes and things like that, but I don't. Donnie wants to know. Oh, no, Donnie says, when you were talking about advanced vacuum timing, Uncle Tony did a pretty cool demonstration video on one. Mine was unplugged, plugged it in, got all the ponies. Yeah. Well, and you're a really stock engine, so you probably need that. And your distributor, it's a stock one, or it was, well, it was still working. Would have had the big spread in it. It would have been set at like 10 degrees base. So the vacuum advance is adding more timing pretty early on. In like the race setups, usually you run no vacuum advance and you run a pretty tight curve. You run, 20 degrees up to 36 degrees or something in that range, and you don't use the vacuum. So in a performance application, usually that's where you go. You have better control, better reliability, and you can set it where you want it. Excuse me. But yeah, for a street car, cruiser, you do want it for sure. Stan Nelson just jumped on. Did I miss the picking session? Yeah, I played a song of the intro, but I'll probably do more. Ported. Yeah. Yep. Stacy Ranner says, like I said on the video today, that charger is just awesome. Still can't put my finger on it, but it may be one of the coolest out there. It's a really neat car. I like it quite a bit. There are some cool righty chargers out there, but yeah, I think it's a contender. I could just kind of tell by the views that it gets, you know. Hi.
Mama said, no, because he doesn't know AJ's dad.
Well, yeah, we don't really know him, do we?
No.
I'd rather someone else would be going. You want to say hi to the people?
It's just AJ's dad, though.
Yep, I know. But if that's what your mama said, I agree with her. You can't just bounce between parents and get different answers. You want to say hi?
That was AJ who asked my mom.
Oh, can I borrow? I can't. This isn't working at all. Hi. You want to say hi? You want to tell the people which one of your videos I got ready yesterday?
Beach video.
Oh yeah, we're gonna upload the beach video. It's been a very long time since I edited any of her videos, so she took it upon herself to just start making them by herself all the time. Pretty cool. She's got her whole entire own channel. If your kids watch the YouTubes, go check her out at Ava's with an E. Ava's Toys and Adventures. Oh.
And you better subscribe.
You better subscribe. Okay, AJ's calling you. Yeah. Okay, bye. Daniel Arsenal, hopefully, says, just discovered your channel. Love it. From Prince Edward Island, Canada. I'm not an expert on car stuff, but I love to watch educational videos on classic cars. Great job. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'm trying to share what knowledge and information I have. I know it's helped a whole lot of people, and that's kind of awesome. So thank you very much for tuning in. Scott Prado is here. He's been missing for a while. And he says, checking in till I lose interest or the dogs misbehave. Javi Macias is with us again and says, put a new tank, 3/8 sending unit, 3/8 fuel line in my A body. Gas barely sputters into plastic gas filter. Use a remote container into pump and fuel filter fills up. Do I need a return line filter? Well, you probably, if it's a 3/8 sending unit, it probably has a return line. So you might want that, but I have questions. I'm not sure. Is there? Damn it. Woo! The Coronet convertible isn't cranking for some reason. That's a problem. Anyway, they don't always fill, but there should be a good bit of fuel in there. I wonder, fuel, remote container into fuel pump and filter fills up. No, that's probably not your problem. Your problem is probably that you're pulling air. Either your new sending unit is goofy or your rubber line could be not so good. Split, bad connection, don't know. Or you don't have enough gas in the tank. I had that happen on my 67. I put several gallons in when I first installed it, and it wasn't enough for the pickup to actually get any. It did exactly what you're saying. It picked up a little bit, it like ran briefly, and then died. And I dumped in another 3 gallons, and it was fine. So maybe one of those things. Return line filter is a good thing. If you have the return line on the tank, you want that anyway. It's a good thing to have. But that's probably not why it's doing that. Kelly Smith says, my 1970 Roadrunner, Belvedere clone, had just a 318 2-barrel, but with the air cleaner lid flipped and thrush mufflers, did really well. Oh, hell yeah. It's the 1970s or early 80s all over again. Yeah, and that's that. Ross says, oh, the 445 has the same ratios as the NP 4500 without the OD. Okay, interesting. MP or NV, I'm assuming, either way. Good to know. The other DDG, Dust Devil Garage, is with us and says, what up, everyone? Doing the race car thrash. No Name Nationals is in less than 2 weeks. Damn, that came fast. Faster and faster every year. Oh, Ross says, the 540 OD is nearly made of unobtainium. I know. I've been looking all over. I found one on eBay, and it was thousands. So yeah, I guess everybody wants those. Anyway, Ross has been looking for one for my W300 for 25 years. School buses are the best place to look. Interesting. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on finding one. I've had a 5-speed. I think it was an MP540, but it wasn't an OD. It was regular wide ratio or short ratio with granny low, whatever the hell they call that. Anyway, close ratio. Did I say short? It doesn't. Whatever. You know what I mean. Yep. Oh, G-Bob Luba says those are 1966. Cool. I mean, it's a perfect drivetrain for somebody that's got a 66 or 7 B body, you know, or even a C body, 383 car. So yeah. But that's about what I think. 1,500 to 2,000, maybe. Maybe I'm low, maybe I'm high. Just, you know, it varies on where you're at too. Things tend to be a little cheaper around here. Oh. Yes, dear.
I saw egg in the chicken.
In the chicken?
No, I saw egg in the chicken coop.
I should have started out in the chicken, but it's out now. Nice. Well, don't break it. Be very, very, very careful.
Too bad I'm breaking it.
What?
Put the laptop down and film
No,
it.
you're not breaking that over here.
Can we jump the trampoline?
Yeah, you can jump the trampoline.
I have
Don't
an
break
egg.
the egg. We haven't gotten any eggs for a long time. Let's save it. Because they keep getting eaten by critters.
Well, I guess
Duck.
I'm a critter.
You're a critter. Don't. That's chicken poop on there, you know. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't put it in your mouth. Whose kid is this?
Mine.
She's out of control. Okay, anyway.
I might as well kill it.
No. Save it. Is that blood on your shirt?
No,
Oh,
totally not.
okay. All right, go away.
I murder people by 3 times.
Whoop. You heard it here first, folks. Oh, Jesus. I just elbowed you in the face.
Yeah.
She's really good at fake crying. It's ridiculous. Okay, I got comments. I got so many comments. Why don't you go jump with AJ?
Okay.
What? Are you serious? Jeez. Lovely. Anyway, All Classics Restorations with us again. It says, howdy, Jamie and DDG gang. Been working hard on that 70 Fury drop top this week. Taking it out to Holly Mo Party Thursday. Awesome. Allegedly, I'm going to be somewhere near to there this coming weekend. I don't know if I'm going to get there. I wanted to. Don't know yet. We'll see. Anyway, very cool. Cool seeing that car go together, I'm sure. Steve Perozzi is here, or Perazzi, don't know, and says, greetings from Massachusetts. Greetings from Washington State. You can tell I'm in Washington State by how green it is. And the way it smells. Aaron Lutz is with us again and says, good evening, Jamie and the group. How's it going, Aaron? Dan in Alaska is back too and says, will we see any more videos on your brother's hoopty? I'd like to see that car fixed up a little more. Well, have I got good news for you? We spent a lot of time today working on that.
Dad, can I have it,
No! Because I need it. Yeah, he's going to be on the channel more, and so is that absolute pile of a Barracuda. So there you go. And Dan also says, thanks for the great videos this week. Comment of the week, pulled a Chevrolet in the garage. Nailed it. The ducks are having a romantic scene?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, thanks for watching, Dan. Appreciate that. Lovejoy says, any suggestions on what I should charge to restab the timing on a hopped up 454 for my neighbor? Still haggling price on that and some other vehicles of his he wants done. He's the one that I'm trying to get the 5th Avenue off of. I mean, are you just doing a distributor swap? I usually charge an hour to R&R it and then, time it. If it's a newer one with fuel injection manifold in the way, that sucks. Ava, you do realize I'm live streaming.
Yeah.
What now?
I want phone.
No.
Please.
Nope.
Please.
Mm-mm.
Please.
Maybe later.
Please.
Jesus. Anyway, I usually charge $100 for that. So I don't know. Probably, just a guy doing it in the yard. Maybe 50 is more like it. Depends on how quick you are with Chevys, I guess. Brianne C is here and says, greetings from British Columbia. Any chance of a budget build video for a Performance 318? Oh, there's a great chance of that. It's not on my calendar right now, but I will definitely do one eventually. Before that, though, I'm going to do a budget 273, and a lot of the same stuff could be applied. Small inch, small block, same stroke, just a smaller bore than the 318. I love those, and I'm all in on that idea. I just don't know when I will be building one for a project here. When I do, you'll see it. I do lots and lots of small block stuff here. Right now, I have, it was 9, but I think it's 10 now, small blocks in the shop. 2 318s. We're up to 2 273s inside, but one outside. Several 360s. There's a 340. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So right now, I'm building a Performance 360. I'm building 2 273s, one for mileage, one for ridiculous RPM, and I'm also finishing up a 440. And then I'll be finishing up my 340 maybe this winter, putting it back kind of to stock. So yeah, anyway, lots of small block content will be coming. And yes, eventually I will definitely do a budget Performance 318. I'd love to do that. And speaking of 318s, Will C says, my Demon has a low mileage 318. Bone stock internals, just all your standard bolt-on, and it's pretty good. Surprisingly good. Yeah, that's the thing. People want to, throw them away for something bigger. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. The 318's got plenty of inches to do cool stuff. They're good. You can do nifty stuff with them. Sure, it's no 340. It's no big block, but it's a good engine. I really like them. I've had lots and lots of great running 318s over the years. So I've probably done more burnouts with 318s than anything else. Lovejoy says, if I think about it tomorrow, I may send you pics of the 5th Avenue and get your opinion of what it's worth as well. Well, I can't guarantee I'll be helpful. I'm pretty sure those are not worth very much, but I could be wrong. I don't really know those cars, and I don't really want to. No offense. I'd take one if it was handed to me, similar to the F body, but not really my thing. So $500, but you can send me pictures. That's cool. You rang. Donnie summoned rooster from the depths, like the Kraken. Nice. Brianne says, I have a 340 cam, double roller chain, 340 heads and intake, and a 318 short block. Need to get it together. We talked about this at length last week. Slapping the 340 heads on the 318 can work, but you're going to lose port velocity and drop the compression of that engine with those bigger chambers. What? Is there a hole? What? No. Because I'm using it. Children. I don't know, because it's mine, and the other thing about it is it's not yours. You can have it later. Children. Anyway, 340 heads on 318. It can work, but porting a set of 318 heads might do just as well. Basic port job, cleanup job, and such. The bigger heads on the smaller displacement, not necessarily a recipe for the best of performance. It can work, but yeah. Will C says, my buddy's 68 Charger is so perfectly shitty. Super Joe Dirt style, but rocket fast. Awesome. Jeff Garapi, something like that. Hopefully it's one of those. Don't know. Just take it. Oh, Jesus. Why is your face always there? Good Lord. Just watched the Ready Charger video. What a cool car. Yes, it's awesome. Looking forward to driving that up to Olympia at least once this week. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see. 7 Ted Cap says, I've read but don't know why you have to change the coil when converting from points to the Mopar electronic ignition system. Why? Yes, I did watch your ignition videos. I really haven't gotten into the different types. Nice. I really didn't get into the different resistance ratings of different coils. The ratings between those two coils might be different. I don't know. They may well be different parts. Not sure. But I've used them interchangeably with success so far. Donnie says, one day, I'm going to build a Gen 3 Hemi-powered K-car drag wagon called Special K. It's going to be sick. In the meantime, we're doing round track racing now. Not bad for just out of surgery. Yeah, it looks pretty exciting. So I can only assume there will be some video coming. Rocket Tom is here right on time as usual and says, hi, just finished canning peaches and fixing a very overweight apple tree that fell over. That's not ideal. Not ideal at all. Is someone? Oh. Okay. All right. There was a question in the comments, but Rooster answered it. We'll get to that in a minute. Super fun. What brand of gas tanks do you buy? And why does it not matter? Because they're like all exactly the same. I just don't remember who you get them from. The Barracuda one came from wherever that is. And it was reasonably priced. Michael Harmon says, what size is the bolt on my harmonic balancer? 1976 225 6-cylinder. Basically, all of them are 1.25 inches. I just did a late 225 that had one. Early ones don't. And I'm sure it was the same thread as a small walk and big block. It's actually longer because it holds on an extra pulley section. But it might have been smaller now that I'm thinking about it. Most all of them are 1.25 inches, but dang it, I'm not totally sure on that. I could have told you 100% until you asked, and now I'm not so sure. But it may well be 1.25 inches. That's usually what they are. Charlie Hrabsky says that. The Dust Devil Garage says, sitting in the duster right now watching. Nice. Very nice. Ross says, Marketplace Wish of the Week, 1980 two-door Dodge Diplomat, slant 6 automatic. I've never even seen one. I don't think. Let's see. Let's look it up. That is, yep, it's a Diplomat with less doors. All I can think when I see that is Breaking Bad, Ehrmantraut. Anyway. Mr. PF Flyer says, I didn't get the chance to be a dad, but I know a good dad when I see one. Jamie's a good guy. Thank you very much. I only slightly yelled at her, and I was joking. Let's just, get that covered. And remember, coffee is just bean soup. And the beans would be the bones that you use to make the broth, I guess. Nobre said, I've heard that a TorqueFlite 904 will work behind a 440. Is this your experience or wild speculation? There is no big block 904. However, there are somewhere in the universe adapters that go from big block to small block bell housing. And the reason those exist is so you can use the later overdrive transmission, which was small block only, behind a big block. Seen that done in magazines and stuff. So if there's an adapter that allows you to bolt one of those small block transmissions on, you can use the same adapter to bolt on a 904. Is it a good idea? Probably not, unless it's race built. In general, no, there's no factory transmission that fits, but with an adapter, all things are possible. All Classics Restoration says, if you make it to the show, come by the Mopar Connection magazine booth and say hi. All right, well, I will. But again, I want to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's just going to be a whole extra day on the road. Speaking of which, no, I have not spilled the beans on next weekend yet. I have allegedly said that I won't be here. Videos might be sparse. And if you like 69 Chargers, you're going to like what I've got in store. But that's all the beans so far. Griffin Lloyd says, have you heard of Mopar Connection and the magazine? Thoughts? I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Thoughts? I don't know. Also, I'm heading down to Mo Party on Saturday. Just wanted to tell you, you should come. Thoughts on the General Lee jump getting canceled? I know nothing about that and don't really have any thoughts. Danberg says, okay, think I got it right. How's it look on your side? You do realize I can't see you, right? Hopefully I look okay. That's, it's kind of a one-way thing. Lovejoy says it feels like the timing isn't correct. I figured if it used to be okay and just started acting on time, the Disney may have worked loose and lost its setting. Problem is I didn't build it. It could just be wrong, or it's a Chevy motor, so it could be losing a cam. That's what happened to me last time. And I always say that because it's what happened to me last time. I had a big block Chevy that all of a sudden just kind of went to crap and didn't run right anymore. It ate a bunch of lifters. That wasn't good. Lovejoy says, I have no idea how built it is, if the advance is locked out or what it was set at last time. So it'll be annoying and fiddly. I'm sure it was. Sure it will be. So yeah, I don't know. A couple bucks. Depends on time. I charge $100 an hour, repair labor rate, which used to seem like a lot of money, but really doesn't anymore. I'm just some guy working at home, but I allegedly do good work, allegedly know what I'm doing, and, I take care of stuff if anything ever goes wrong. So I feel good charging that, and people are really happy to pay it. Shops are like a month out. I can do it in a week or less, so it's worked out pretty well for me so far. I don't know what that means. That seems to be okay, so I'm good with that. Bell James says, you're welcome to fly out to Oklahoma and do a performance build on my 79 Smog 318. I'm sure I am. Probably not going to, but, cool idea. I am planning to do a performance build is the wrong word, but I plan to do some stuff with my 79 300 360. But that's not a 318, so that's kind of beside the point. Rooster said that, and again, yes, absolutely. They are small block pattern only, but with an adapter, yeah, all things are possible. P38 Chris, a name I recognize very well, someone who's been in the comments and the lives for quite a while, says, sorry I'm late. Had to help a friend with some interior stuff on his 1965 Mustang. Fixing to replace the interior on my 64 Dart 170 soon as well. Very cool. All good. Okay, yeah, that was it. It came from Vans. Yeah, buy from Vans. They're the cheapest. Also, Tom's got a wholesaler account because he buys a lot, so he gets a good break on them. But yeah, they all are pretty much the same. That has been my experience. Jeffrey Sherrod says, got a 70 CUDA with a 3D3, but I'm struggling not to do a Gen 3 swap. Would love the reliability and to be able to drive long distance. Okay, 3 things. First off, adding complexity, spending money and adding complexity does not add reliability. Fuel injection, adding fuel injection to a classic does not add reliability. You might like to think it does. You might think, modern EFI cars are super reliable, so if I EFI my old car, it'll be super reliable. No. The difference in engineering between those add-on systems and an OE system is like an entire universe. They're not the same. In my experience, and I said on video, in that Challenger video, the Terminator X seems to be quite good. So far, nice tune out of the box, runs amazing. You heard how it runs. We have no qualms with that. I think it might be a little fat and happy. We are going to have a dyno tune, which is cool. It's quite good so far. But having had experiences with the sniper systems, I happen to know that when things go wrong, they go wrong and the damn thing doesn't want to run anymore. It's not like an OE system where it's got a fail-safe mode where, hey, this sensor just died. This sensor looks wacky. I'm going to ignore that, throw a trouble code, and limp on down the way. No, everything goes to hell. So if you're going down the road and your oxygen sensor breaks in your freshly rebuilt fuel injection converted 78 Dodge Crew Cab, all of a sudden you have a truck that'll barely run and you have to get creative to get it off the side of the road. So then there's the wiring side of it. Then there's, again, knowing how to do it. In the Challenger I just did, I went to great lengths to do a nice job, a sanitary job, make everything make sense. Their individual fuses, individual feeds, everything is simple. I've still got to write up a diagram for Austin so he can diagnose it down the road if anything ever happens. But If you're anything less than 100% on your crimps, on your wiring techniques, on your routing, on where you're pulling power from, things can go bad. The little computers can die. So, and you can't go get another one. So which one is more reliable? A carburetor and a simple ignition system that you can fix if it breaks, or this crazy space age GFI crap? I'm going to say carburetor. There are other advantages to the EFI for sure. The tunability is really cool. You know, there's a lot of good stuff for it. But what it's not going to give you is reliability in the way that you think it will. Yes, it's turnkey. It's awesome. It fires right up every time. Great, cool. But something will break, and I know that. And when it does, it's not going to be as fun to fix. You know, you're going to have a tough time with that. So to me, the reliable one is my 383 with an Edelbrock carburetor and points ignition. Although I'm probably going to put a Pertronix on it, I'm going to keep the points in the car because it's simple. It's stupid, you know, and when things do go wrong, which they do, especially with modern points, you can fix it in 5 minutes and it's no problem, and away you go. So yeah, I used to be all in on EFI and fuel economy and that. And so I get it. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I've built a couple cars that way, but no, I don't think it's what you want. I don't really think it's what you want. The Hemi is great for other reasons, you know, but reliability, I wouldn't expect that, you know. Is that Terminator X system still going to be working flawlessly 25 years from now? I don't know, but my points ignition and Edelbrock carburetor will be. So just saying. There are a lot of points in both sides there. Also, the Gen 3 swap is insanely expensive. So I think I said 3 points. That was that point 1? Point 2 is cost. You're going to spend thousands on the engine, the Terminator system, wiring it, so much time. If you can't do it yourself, you know, I mean, we're 20 to 25 grand on that job in labor. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. If you can do it yourself, awesome. Cool. Super cool. But yeah, if you got to pay somebody, you know, that's a big ask. It's a big job. So you can drive your 383 long distance. I've proven that. And, you know, yeah, it might get worse fuel economy than the EFI, but you can drive a lot of miles before you make up that difference. You know what I mean? My 383 Charger, I drove home from Bend, Oregon to here. That's 300 miles. It had 430 gears in it at that time, and it got a hand calculated 11 miles a gallon. And I was flying at 75, 80 for a lot of that, just flying. And it was awesome. The engine loved it. Now, a better highway gear has improved the cruisability quite a bit. The engine is definitely happier. And I get 15, 16 miles a gallon. And again, you know, okay, with the Hemi and an overdrive gear, let's say you get 25. 10 more M's per G. Okay, but it's going to take you X number of miles to save enough money to pay for that swap. And that's assuming nothing else breaks. So, yeah, just drive the big block, man. I love a 383. They're my favorite Mopar engine, I think. But, yeah. Again, the Gen 3 it's interesting. There are a lot of good points for it. It's cool. It makes ridiculous power. But also, did you know they're kind of shitty engines and they're not that reliable? They have cam problems. The earlier ones have valve seat problems. Give me the 383 any day. Done deal. The Hemi's going to do cool stuff. But, yeah, that's my thinking. And yeah, you're welcome. And obviously that is just my advice. That's just my opinion. You know, everybody is doing the modernizing thing, and I get it. And there are good reasons for that. I get it. But to me, no, I'm not doing that. I'm sticking with the old school. You know, and plus the other thing is the character of the car changes. Maybe for the better. Austin's Challenger is amazing. It's stupid fun to drive. But I like my factory cars, you know. You get in one of those and you're time traveling. And if there's a fuel injected Hemi under the hood, it just doesn't have the same spirit, smells, sounds, you know. Things are different. So to me, That's what it should be. But again, it's just my opinion. So yeah, thank you. Bobby C says, just got a rebuilt 727 for my 75 D100. Are the tail shaft the same length? My truck has a 3-speed currently. 3-speed manual? 3-speed what? 75 D100. Wouldn't it just be a 727? Should be. Generally, they're all the same length, but if it has I don't think they use 904s in trucks until like the late 80s V6 trucks. So I'm pretty sure either way, your truck transmission will be the same length. Should be. Yeah, because the manuals they used were still that same length. I think you must mean it's got to have a 727 now. As long as it's not the goofy van one with the shorter tail housing, it'll be just fine. 710 cap, tip me $7.27. Nice. That is a solid Mopar number. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. No comment with it to put up on the board, so I'll just say thank you. Very good. Avon has arrived. The stream can start now. The Dodge Garage Sunday Boring, super special, whatever. I'm greasy, tired. How y'all doing? Any questions, comments, etc.? How's it going, Avon? Kelly Smith says, I used 1 1/4 for the Magnum. I just did. It was a bit on the sloppy side. Likely a 31 or 32 mil may fit better. Interesting, it may, but it should still be 1 1/4. The Magnum block, they didn't go to metric hardware. Except the valve cover bolts are 10 mil. Some of the hardware may have gone metric, but I thought the balancer was still 1 1/4. I don't know if those bolts are metric thread. I can't. I don't know, but I don't think they are. Dan in Alaska wants to know, Jamie, do you ever sell project cars through the shop? Yeah, I sell project cars. It happens. I did have the Daily Driver Barracuda listed for sale for like 4 months. Until my brother traded me his stupid Valiant for it. I had to give him money, give him his engine back, and I have no time to do anything with it. But it's cool, and the people like it, so at least there's that. I had my Power Wagon listed for months as well, and it didn't work out at all. Finally, I just did a bunch more work to it. There's a video coming on it next week, so now I have 2 people that want to buy it. And I don't think I want to sell it, but we'll see. Yeah, anyway. The project cars, the extras. Yes, I do sell them. It happens. I haven't had much to sell lately, but yeah, it happens. I sold a few earlier this year, a Duster, a Dart, another Barracuda, trucks. Yeah. The extras, the hangers on, they can usually go. Certain cars, the garbage can Cuda, my Demon, obviously, my Charger, those aren't going anywhere ever. Our wagon, yes, it's locked. You can go around. Well, Charlie's out too, That's why it's locked. What?
Nothing.
Okay. That look said something.
I don't know what it said.
All right. Dan in Alaska. I knew a guy that was looking for a project car in Alaska somewhere, and I could swear his name was Dan, but maybe it wasn't. And he used to visit down here periodically, and he tried to buy a Challenger from me once. Anyway. Rooster says, and remember, when your doc says you have had a cardiac event, he really means heart attack. Yeah, hope that's going better. Ugh. Dan says, drag racing mid-plate BRB Gen 2 Hemi to 904 setup. Yeah, could be for drag racing purposes because the 904 has lighter internals, it's lighter overall. It's a good choice for drag racing when built for the purpose. So that is why that adapter would exist. But again, also one does exist to put the overdrive behind the big block. I'm somewhat familiar with that. The dog wants out, but he can't come out. No Beret says, thanks, Jamie. Good night. Have a good one. Ralph is here. Ralph says, hi, Jamie. Awesome video on my Ratty 69 Charger. Thank you. FYI, BHES Car Show, Saturday, September 16th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7300 Zangle Road, Northeast Olympia, a variety of cars. Interesting. I won't be there. I will be across the country doing 69 Charger stuff, which I enjoy very much. So hopefully the viewers do as well. Dan says, good thing you can't see me. Have a question for you. When did they raise the price of a hat? Do you mean on my store or in general? The price of everything has gone up. We had lower prices on stuff on the store initially, but we've raised them because we weren't literally I lost money the first many months of the web store existing on every single sale due to a couple minor technical difficulties. So we did raise prices and we fixed some stuff. But if you're talking about my store, that's why. If you're talking about in general, they raised the price of everything, man. Welcome to the future. It kind of sucks. One-Eyed Cat says, on a battery cut-off switch, where do you run the wire to kill the motor when switch is turned off? Okay, so there are various ways to do this. Actually, in a Roadkill Garage, what were they wiring? Freiberger showed a great method to do it. It might have been on the F-Rod. I think it was on the F-Rod because they've got a main relay that shuts down. But there's still power going to, the alternator would still be charging. So even with the battery taken out of the circuit, it could stay running. So what you need is a relay that's triggered by your kill switch. And either the problem with that is this needs to be on a drag car, because if it's on a normal car, anytime that, the switch is on, it'll be engaged. It'll be powering that relay and drawing electricity. Or there may be other ways to do it. But you'd have to have like power from there and then a ground trigger from the key some way. You need to use a relay. It's relatively easy to have a relay as a an extra sub circuit to your key circuit, so there's no power going to that when the kill switch isn't engaged. That way, the motor will die when you turn the switch off, and that's what you want. If you're on a racetrack, that's what they want. You need to use a relay. You'll have that kill switch energize a relay, and then the feed from that relay, the output from that relay, will go to your ignition system. So, but it would go to your ignition switch, or whatever you're using to power the system directly, and that's how that would work. I'm trying to turn up the brightness, but I'm turning up the volume, which doesn't quite do the same thing. Hope that helps. I'm sure there are diagrams out there for what I'm talking about. I've never done it. I've never really done a whole lot of that race car type stuff. We put a kill switch in the trunk of the Red 71. It does not kill the engine. It's not a race safety. Those ones need to kill the engine as a safety at a racetrack. So any official or anyone, if anything happens, they can go up and hit the switch. So I'm sure that's why you need that. The one on the Red 71 is there as a system kill, but it's not for that. Meow. Hi, Vader. Come on up. Come on. Would you just do the thing, man? Get it over with. Kelly Smith says, give me a carburetor car any day. We never knew how good we had it. Yeah, I totally agree. And TD Speed Shop just went through the same exact thing and went back to a carburetor. Yeah, again, I want to think that EFI is awesome. I really do. I've had decent results with OE systems like the Magnum conversions. I'm still on board with those. Not as much. I prefer the carburetor, but I'm still on board with those because it's an OE engineered systems. And again, it has those fail safes in place where, okay, the throttle sensor just died. It's able to recognize the throttle sensor died, ignore that sensor, and you can still go down the road. Something shorts out, your temperature sensor dies, whatever. It'll throw a code, it'll realize what's going on, and you can usually still limp along. These aftermarket systems do not do that. They just kind of don't. And they're sensitive to how they're wired again. So, yeah. Yep. I'm all in on the carburetor. I don't want to be like Grandpa, get off my lawn. It's the only way to go, but it's just what I've come to realize. It's the simplest. It's the easiest to deal with, and I like cars that drive. If that hasn't become obvious, nice cars are nice, but I like cars that work. I like cars that go out and drive, do what they're meant to do. That's everything I've learned, is geared towards that. So, yeah. Yep. Carburetor, man. Carburetor. Oh, and that's what I was saying. Yep. I didn't quite fully finish that thought, but I was saying that a brand new 70 CUDA 383 was built to drive long distances. So why couldn't it today? Exactly. And that's why it should be fine for a 69 Charger to drive 2,000 miles. But we'll see. It was built to do that. Why can't it do that now? There's no reason for it. And that's why I love to do this. That's why I love keeping these cars on the road. That's why I love tuning them so they actually work, so you can actually drive them. That is my main focus, is making these cars function, making them run right, and putting them on the roads. So I'm all in on that idea. All Classics Restoration also says, I'm thinking the new Edelbrock Holly clone that's super tunable is the new ticket. I think the AVS 2 is the new ticket. I think Edelbrock is on one. I think they've got the stuff we need. Holly's got all the EFI systems, and Edelbrock has them too. But Edelbrock's got the good carbs. I have had excellent results out of the AVS 2 for a driver. Regular AVS as well, and AFB even. But would you stop chewing on me? The Tiny Panther is back. I can't say tiny. He's not small, but he's smaller than a normal panther. Anyway, I prefer the Edelbrock body with the top plate. First off, you can open it without getting gas everywhere. Second off, you don't even have to open it to tune it, because you can just take out the needles and springs. Super easy. Obviously, the pump adjustment is external on all of these. But on the Edelbrock, you can just pop off a clip and pick one, instead of having to change a cam or whatever. So I prefer the Edelbrock. I used to think Holly was the guy. And that Edelbrock one looks very good. It really does for a Holly. It might be the best Holly, but I prefer Edelbrock, especially Carter, traditional Edelbrock, Carter AFB AVS, and especially the AVS 2. The AVS 2 is just super, super good. I prefer those for a street car. If you're trying to make a bunch of performance, you need a Holly double pumper. But if you're going to drive the car, that family of carburetors, in my experience, is just the best. So that is the way I would tell you to go. And that's what would be on the 70 CUDA 383 from the factory. So, it's already there. A modern one would be a good replacement too. Bear Rose Garage dropped in and said, well, hello there, everybody. Hello, Bear Rose Garage. How's it going? My friend Dave's here, or was anyway. That and when the aftermarket piece dies, how do you Yeah, exactly. He got to that probably in the middle of that tirade that I went on. When the aftermarket piece dies, how do you diagnose and fix it on the side of the road? Points just need a cam to open the points, gas, and air. Yep, there are a lot of ways to, you can make it happen. You can make it happen. And Mostly Mopar also says, carburetor, any day. I can work on that beside the road. Now, is it more likely you'll end up beside the road? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's where I'm at in life. I spent a good bit of time and thought on the EFI idea, and I've just gotten to where the carburetor makes sense. And if you tune it correctly, you can get great cruisability, great power, good cruisability, and decent fuel economy. You're not going to get the probably 25 that the Hemi Swap Challenger is going to get, although my brother has in several cars, with the right setup. It can be done, but that's not the norm. It's not the norm. But yeah, it can be made to work very well. What You Fixin' is here and said, I used to own a truck identical to that. Absolutely identical. Nice. Anyway, What You Fixin' says, right on, Jamie. I'm so tired of hearing EFI is better and more reliable. It is not. Carbs are cheaper, easier to fix on the side of the road. Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, again, there is a place for EFI. I'm not saying there isn't. It's super tunable. It's great. Turbo. I am still planning to build an EFI Slant 6 with a turbo, mostly just because I want to. But that's not a normal street car. That's something completely different. Yeah, I'm basically all in on the carburetor for a car that has to actually work. So yeah, I can see the opinion here is mostly behind me, and I'm not surprised. This is kind of the crowd. There are diehard EFI guys, and that's fine. But yeah, I'll stick with the carburetor. Thank you. I'm happier there. Nathan's Mopar Garage dropped in and said, hello, everyone. Hello, Nathan's Mopar Garage. How you doing? Oh, yeah. Dave also says, think of blasphemy, having to replace those controllers routinely. Finnegan stocking 2 spare $2,000 controllers. Yeah. But there again, blown, would you stop chewing on me? Jesus. There are reasons that make sense for that application, but yeah, it's not cheap. Nothing about that setup's cheap, though. Yeah, I'm going to build a budget Hemi. I just did that too in the middle of that tirade or later. So I think I answered it already. I feel like I did. When do we see Creepy Cat again? When my wife gets bored of her computer game. Donnie, you know that answer. Yeah, Carter Edelbrock. ADS2 is the best. It is the best. And it was factory equipment in some years, some applications, Hollies were as well. I'm pretty sure that 70 CUDA would have been Edelbrock. But they were using Hollies on some applications in that time. So I could be wrong on that. But yeah, anyway, I like the Carter Edelbrock. That is my favorite. Yeah, ADS2, that's our boy. We talked about that. Thanks again, 710 Cap. Oh, there was a comment. It was just separate. I know you put a ton of effort into making videos, and I enjoy them very, very much. Entertaining and informative. Just want to let you know you're appreciated. Next cup of coffee is on me. Thank you very much. I appreciate the appreciation. That's awesome. Yes, I really do put a lot of work into it. I think I do better on investment of time versus resulting screen time than some channels, from what I've gathered, from what I've heard. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and I have a regular job, and I have a repair contract, fleet contract. So that's like a whole other job. And then I still have customer cars that aren't videos, all the time, in and out, on and on it goes. So I have like 3 or 4 jobs, depending on how you count, and time is tight. And to be able to do all of this at once is absolutely insane. I don't know how I'm pulling it off, but I am somehow. I'm really enjoying it, but yeah, time is a problem. Don't be expecting 4 videos a week again, is all I'm saying. But thank you very much. Means a lot. Mopar Pollock says, what parts are you starting to hoard? Everything. It seems steering column parts are like hen's teeth lately. I hoard engine parts, and you can tell just looking in my shop, engines are kind of my passion. They're kind of what I get into. Like I was discussing a bit ago in this very live stream, I've got like 5 Mopar engine builds on the go right now. 2 273s, a 360, a 440, my 340 I'm not actively working on right now, but all of those other ones I am. 318 I mostly have finished, needs to go in a dart. I think that's it. 4 or 5. Yeah, so I hoard engine parts. That's always been my thing for many years. I just love them. When I started my business that eventually failed to continue to exist, it was called Atwood Engine. That was my thing. I wanted to do engines. I wanted to do muscle car era engines. I've loved it since the very first one I built. So I have tons and tons of that stuff. I've got valve covers. I've got intakes. I've got small block distributors as far as the eye can see. Many carburetors, etc. All that kind of stuff. Radiators, mostly mechanical parts. I don't hoard so much body stuff. First off, it's big. Second off, I have Rocket Tom as a resource, and he does it for me. So he's got piles of steering columns, piles of big block parts like you wouldn't believe. They're just everywhere. Fasteners, yep, no problem. He also has a mountain of alternators, a mountain of starters, every type of classic Mopar carburetor core you could ever need. Linkage pieces, caps, all the things. So it's really helpful to have that as an additional resource. But most of my stuff around here is mechanical stuff, hardware bits, that kind of thing. Because I can take, if I could just get a roller car, a car that needs an engine, I can handle all of that. I try to avoid cars that need, tons and tons of work, or all the glass is out of it, or the whole interior is gone, or, there's no column, there's no dash. Like, those are hard to find things. I try to stick to cars where all the important body stuff is there. So yeah, mechanicals, that's really where I focus, specifically drivetrain. Manuel, but I don't know what about. Dave said, with that said, I love the Charger's turnkey. Don't have to warm it up to make it run right. That has a good in-between. Factory 360 Magnum with the keg and factory ECU. And yes, I put an OBD2 port on it, which is awesome. Yeah, and I really like that too. Again, if I'm going to do EFI, those factory engineered systems are the way I'm going to go. That's what I like. It's the aftermarket stuff that I just kind of go, yeah. I think Avon likes that. I had another thought though. On your Charger, when it had a factory 383, it had a Holley 650 vacuum secondary with no functional choke. And in 45-degree weather, I would hit the throttle once to the floor and start it, and it would idle like EFI. It was never cold-blooded. It was never finicky. It was never difficult. It ran out sweet. It made acceptable power, good torque. It ran amazing. It always did. It was a stock 383 that burned a little oil and leaked it. That's normal. And just a Holley VacSec 650. That carburetor was pure magic. I took it off of the Charger and put it on the garbage can CUDA on the original Performance Built 360. Aluminum heads, ridiculous cam, but a vacuum secondary Holley 650. And it worked great. It worked really, really well. So, again, there are ways to have that without the EFI. And I'm getting better at it these days. Of course, modern fuel sucks, so that does create other problems. And EFI has the upper hand there. Fine. It really does. But the carburetor can work. But yeah, I like the Magnum system too. What up, 340 air cleaner duck? Yeah, I forgot all about it. Tom's back. I probably need a reminder on that on Tuesday, and we'll check it out. Get you some pictures. Ross says, oh, interesting. 904s were in 70s D100s. I had a 76 that lost reverse. Surprised me. Interesting. So I've never seen that. I have... Yeah, my D150 stepside was a 727 for sure. I have never seen a 904 in one of those trucks, but I believe you. I mean, those trucks are where the slant 6 727 comes from. Usually they're 727. So yeah, I've seen some people say that they never came in trucks ever, which is obviously not true. Again, I've seen them behind V6s, so I'm hip to that. And technically that may be the newer lockup A500 or whatever they call it, or A999. 500 is a big one. Yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, very interesting. Brad's Restorations is here with a Ford. Yeah, I think Brad's Restorations was here last week. Anyway, says you do some cool projects. Thanks for taking the time to share them. Absolutely. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. It's kind of what it's all about. I'm trying to teach people stuff, and I'm just showing what I've got going on. It's good fun for me. As mentioned, it is a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. Bell James says, drove my 79 Cordoba 318 two-barrel 2,300 miles from Washington to Oklahoma, spring of 2022. Left Washington 6 p.m. on Friday night. Pulled into home 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon. No problems, and 22 average mile per gallon. Not mile an hour. That would be a really slow trip. 22 average. Yeah, those have a super highway gear, I'm sure. And yeah, little 318. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Pesky Citizen Chris wants to know, what TV cable adapter kit for 64 torque flight with a 440 and aftermarket intake carburetor? 64 early cable shift torque flight behind a 440. Interesting. The low car or generic eBay equivalent works just fine. The shift side of the 64, the cable setup, that is totally different, but the kickdown's exactly the same. So just grab that same low car setup and you will be good to go. P38 Chris says, I totally buy the 3-speed with floor shifter out of the Volare. I'd even drive from Idaho to get it. You could take the whole car for $800, and then I'd feel really good about it. I don't know if I want to take the 3-speed out. But I have another one and a 4-shifter. So just saying. The bell housing on it is a truck bell housing. I didn't even know you could do this. It's a truck 4-speed bell housing that the 3-speed bolts onto. It actually has the wrong spacer, IBR. I didn't even know. Didn't know that was a thing. So, yeah. But I have a whole transmission. I've got the flywheel that matches that bell housing. I've got a whole clutch, if you wanted to use the truck stuff. And you had a small block. But I'd sell you that one. I don't need it. Big Ranch Donnie says, mechanics traveling? I'm going places too in October. I've heard that. That's cool. Have fun with your adventures. Don't mind if I do. Dust Devil Garage says, I ran a diode to the tickle wire? What's tickle wire? And the charge wire direct to the battery before the switch. Mine works fine. Charge wire direct to the battery before the switch. Diode. I don't know what tickle means. Yeah, okay, interesting. Rich Jordan says, for long distancing in our cars, you do sadly need to take into account the crappy gasoline is all that is available these days. Well, kind of. I mean, if you're just cruising and staying out of it, the crappy gasoline will be just fine. Yeah, you might have worse detonation resistance, and you can have the fuel boiling thing. I don't usually have vapor lock problems. My charger boils fuel when it sits, and that's not ideal. Hot starting is challenging. Brian says that Puma's going to get you. You watch it. He's over there now. Stacy says, cross-country trip, you say? Heading east with Tom? No, Tom just got back. I'm heading east without Tom to a very similar neighborhood, though. Allegedly. Well, I thought he might mean tack wire, but I don't know how that would work. So that I need clarification. Rich Jordan says, hopefully Edelbrock and Holly are keeping their materials updated to deal with it. I don't know. I have no idea. Do they even understand? Do they even know how to fix it? Barrow's Garage says, according to the internet forums, carburetor won't run above 4,000 feet. I guess we rode horses until 1985 here in Idaho. Nothing wrong with going carbs. Yeah, you just have to accommodate for it. That's, yeah, and it is a problem. And your average out-of-the-box carburetor works perfect here at literally sea level where I'm at. Actually, I think technically where I'm at now is 14 to 17 feet. I need to verify that, but it's around there above sea level. But yeah, it's not going to work as well there. You'll have to do some tuning, but yeah, they work. Nothing wrong with going carbs. Yes, we'll see the creepy cat again as soon as my wife gets bored of her video game. Kelly Smith says, my dad used to rejet the carb with a few sizes smaller. If we took a long trip, would add a few miles a gallon. Yeah, I like the Carter Edelbrock because you have the cruise side and the power side. So you put in a larger needle to fill the jet more. You just leaned it out. It's super easy. It comes right out the top. You don't even have to change the jet. Right in it goes. If you get that right, you can just leave it that way forever. And you get your nice cruise. You got your power side, and you're good to go. And that is why the Carter Edelbrock AVS, AFB, AVS2, whatever, is so good. That, and it doesn't leak like a friggin' Holly. Dust Devil Girl. Oh, yeah. I did just talk about this, but I'll read it anyway. How do you feel about a full factory EFI setup, like taking everything from a 95 Ram and putting it all in a Classic? I feel okay about it. I've done it a couple times. I did it in the 66 Charger we were just talking about, although that one, like every other EFI swap I've been involved in except for one, had a couple problems we had to figure out. So, I really like the Magnum system. I like it a lot. That would be my go-to. I need fuel injection in this, so this is what I'm getting. So that's where my money's at. But, generally speaking, I'm all carburetor. Speaking of which, Weird Kind of Sex Symbol says, hi, Jamie. EFI is no doubt better on many levels, in my humble opinion, but carbs are simple, just like I am. Yeah, there's no question it's better. Because, and we should say why it's better, the tunability, the reliability, the way it runs, the startability, its ability to tune for different variations in height above sea level, elevation, that's the word, ambient temperatures, all kinds of different loads, you know. Yeah, it's great. It's self-tuning, and it's awesome. And it can get much better fuel economy much more easily. But at what cost? We spent so much time thinking about if we could. We never stopped to wonder if we should. So yeah, that's where I'm at on that. Yep. It's good, but I like the carburetor. I'm getting a lot out of it, and I'm sticking with that. You know, I'm just going to learn them better and better, and try and stay away from EFI for most things. I think most of my people, my viewership, are in that same camp. Oh, look, my mom's here. Finally remember what day it is and notice the time. Well, you made it. Ow. Oh, I just punched the bar. Don't do that. It's bad for you. Anyway, welcome. Hopefully you got a cider this time. Oh, the hot wire. He's talking about the ignition wire. Yeah. Yep. Run a diode to it. That way it can't backfeed from the alternator and keep the car running. Yep. Diode's like a one-way valve for power. Got it. Cool. Kuda70 GT is with us and says, I like the GM TPI. Simple, easy to work on, very reliable. Other than the Magnum system, my other favorite is GM TBI. They're just dumb and easy. It's a really good system. I prefer it to the Mopar system, the Chrysler TBI. TPI, I can't say I've ever had any good times with that one, but I will take your word on it. Rooster says, I traded my horses for horsepower when I was 19. As for a budget Hemi, I'm building a blown budget Hemi, but it blew the budget. Sounds right. Stage Zero Garage says, big fan of the Holly Street Demon I have on my little red. Good replacement for the Thermoquad. Very similar design. There was one of those on the 67 Coronet. I wasn't about to spend any time tuning it. I have to say it was, as it was, not super impressive. I feel like it has potential. Yeah, it's kind of sort of Thermoquad based, and that's cool. I like that a lot. That one is the only one I've had any experience with, and I wasn't impressed. But it was just thrown on there out of the box. So, yeah, there are my thoughts on the Holly Street Demon. It can be quite good. It could be quite good. The only one I've had any experience with wasn't. Now, Tom says demons are fuel dumpers. They work, but really only for drag or built street motors, overkill for mild or stock builds. The Street Demon is something special. If you're not hip to that, it is very much like a Thermoquad. It is roughly Thermoquad based, kind of, sort of. But it's not. But yeah, I've only played with the one. Barrow's Garage is with me on this one. In my opinion, Edelbrock AVS2 for drivers and Holly's for all-out fun. Yep. Couldn't agree more. I've got a Holly double pumper 750, really nice one on my Demon, my drag car, my screw around 4-speed car, you know, perfect. And it's not an AVS2, it's a traditional, I think it's an AFB, Edelbrock AFB on my Charger, and it works great. So I have no intentions of changing it, but if I ever do, it would be to go to an AVS2 because they're just better. Where is Caitlin? She was here a bit ago. I don't know where she's at now. Maybe she got distracted. She could have seen a squirrel or something. Yeah. Oh, no, my mom's ciderless. Well, that's a problem. It's a little late for me to do anything about that. Yeah, we've got about, let's say 15 minutes left, something like that. So I'll get through some more questions here. If you have any last-minute thoughts, go ahead and drop them now. But not everybody at once. You know, if I get 100 more, that's going to be a problem. We're going to go overtime, and people are going to get sleepy. Rooster says, Demon Series car is good for built street motors, many options. For drag carbs, I run a 1050 Dominator called the Trash Can with 4 holes. It sucks fuel like crazy. Yeah, I've never even touched a Dominator. Not once. Aaron Lutz says, well, I'm back. I just looked at an 89.5 with a 904 in it. Yeah, that sounds right. Yep. In that time, I know they were doing that. Someone did say a bit ago that some 70s D100s had 904s as well. That is surprising to me. I didn't think they did. The only ones I've seen, even Slant 6 trucks, still have 727s, but apparently they exist. Like Rooster says, my 79 D100 has a 904 factory with a 318. Interesting. So I didn't know that. Oh, and Bell James's Cordova that gets 22 miles a gallon still has the lean burden intact. Well, if it works. Yeah. Dan Tupper wants to know, what do you do with a pile of 273s? Well, I have some ideas. One for mileage, one for 7,500 RPM, and the other for parts because it is garbage. Oh, Rich Jordan says I was referring to the various additives EPA has been requiring in gas in various places. Much of it is damaging to the original hoses, rubber, etc., and cars. So you mean not being able to get ethanol-free fuel? Yes, and you've got a point there. In my experience, the dogs are howling. I have no idea why. In my experience, the ethanol is only a problem in these cars when they sit for long periods of time. I run ethanol fuel. I run exclusively ethanol fuel. I don't have problems. It's fine. If you run a car only like seasonally, like my Demon, this could potentially be a problem someday. Hasn't yet, but could be someday. Yeah, the ethanol can do bad stuff. Make sure you're using Gates Barricade fuel hose that's resistant to ethanol no matter what you do. But yeah, it's not ideal, but it's livable. And if you're just on a road trip, just run the stuff. Run it through. When you get back, switch back to ethanol free if you're worried about it. You'll be fine. You will be fine. It can be a big deal when it sits there. But when you're running it through, it's, in my experience, not a big deal. Driver wants to know, when you taking Demon back to strip? I don't know. I wanted to do that like a month or two ago. Here's the problem I have. Time. I think I'm about to run out of racing season, unfortunately. But the big problem is I have the wrong flywheel in that car. I got it from Mitchell with the Barracuda, and it was supposed to be for a 360. It had a weight screwed onto it. It's an aftermarket replacement flywheel. But it had a weight screwed onto it. So I went, okay, perfect. 360 flywheel, no problem. We'll just put it in the Demon. It's beautiful. It's almost brand new. It's not a 360 weight. So I have a balance problem, just like Ralph's Charger had. I have a horrible pulsing vibration, and the higher the RPM, the worse it is. So I need to pull the transmission back off, pull the flywheel off, and either swap to a 360 flywheel or put in a sandwich weight. The thing I don't know is if I need to take that screwed weight off or if it was done intentionally to neutral balance it. My thought was maybe it's weighted for a Magnum, but he said it was behind a 360 LA. So I don't really know what the deal is there. But either way, I need to deal with that. I do have another spare 318 flywheel and a balance plate. So I've got options. But yeah, I got to figure that out. Once I figure that out and it's like not terrifying revving to 6,000 RPM, I'd be a lot more excited to go back to the strip. I'd really, really like to see what I'm made of. You know what I mean? Sometime soon. I really thought it was going to happen this year, but it just hasn't. There's been so much work to do. I mean, restoring a Charger here, all these other projects that come and go, working at Rocket, getting the Challenger done there. I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to take extra time and do my stuff. So I do these little projects. I kind of have to for videos. So the things just roll as they roll. I'd love to go drag racing again. It'll happen, but I don't know when. I have no idea. And remember, a half-assed working car will get you home quicker than a dead EFI system. Damn right. Good point there, All Classics Restoration. Donnie's going to have to get going soon. It's almost 11 o'clock over there in Florida, and 7 a.m. comes early. I'm going to get going in just a few minutes here. I am hungry. I ate some pie before I came out, but that wasn't enough. There's a spider over here on the window, and he's like, dancing? Weird. The cocaine spider. Cody Kennons wants to know, do you sell your old truck parts? Got to do a minor rebuild in my 75 D200. May need help sourcing parts. Well, as mentioned a bit ago, I don't really have a ton of extra truck parts at all. I have step side fenders for one of those, but I'll go ahead and guess your 200 isn't a step side. It could be, but it probably isn't. I just don't have much for truck parts. I really don't. I have old whole trucks. I have a few of them, but I don't have much spare to sell you. And generally speaking, and nothing personal, but I have had 0 successful sales through YouTube, so I just don't do it. It just, I've wasted a lot of time communicating with people and trying to set things up, and it just never works out, ever, not once. Cars, projects, parts, not once. So I don't do it. But yeah, you can always email me at jamienoise@gmail.com and tell me specifically things you're looking for. I will tell you if I can help you find them. But you might just cut out the middleman, call Wildcat Auto Wrecking, or 5 Point Parts. Vanessa's quite good at finding things too. Timothy Russell is here and says, hi, DDG. How's it going, Timothy? Dave also says ported is the only way to fly. In most situations, yes. Aaron Letts says, I've been looking at aftermarket EFI systems. I like the programmability of them over the stock Magnum systems, but I'm really a carb guy. And I get that. I totally get that. And they are tunable. And that's cool, especially when you move timing inside that system. I like that, because you can tweak the timing curve. You can try out different things, and that's great. But at what cost? Donnie's back. I forgot to grab my suitcase for the trip. And to that's the wrong key. What key is it in? Put a condom in the window. Oh, I should have got it too. I think that's it. If you guys didn't know, I record all the music for the channel. Oh yeah, interesting. But again, we're not talking about demons, we're talking about the street demon. The street demon is a totally different machine. Pesky Citizen Chris says, I saw your HEI conversion today. I did this on my 56 Dodge 315 years ago. It was the best upgrade I ever did. Nice. Yeah, I've had really good experience with the HEI. Works really well. Aaron Lutz likes the new Edelbrock Holly carb. Super tunable. Yeah, we talked about that a bit ago. It's a great part. I just don't prefer the Holly design because of the bowl gaskets and such. I really like the Carter Edelbrock. Tales from the Junkyard agrees. ABS2 for the win on most street muscle cars.
You love Hollies. What are you talking about?
Not for street cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
For all-out performance. Colin and Henry are here. They're just spooky shadow ghosts because the lighting really sucks. Gotta put like a spotlight out here or something.
Obviously.
I told them to turn on the yard lights.
Get a ring light.
No. Everyone keeps saying that. I don't need to be that well lit. What are you doing? Where did you go? I thought you were having pizza, boy.
What do we have?
If you had happy teriyaki, I'm going to be upset.
No.
Oh.
Not this time.
It was happy teriyaki.
No, it wasn't.
Not.
Quick reminder,
That
All
was
Classics
Edgar.
Restoration says we're giving away a
Happy
brand new
teriyaki.
Edelbrock VRS 4150 at the Mo Party Show. Nice. Yes, there have been reminders about that on his channel. Check him out if you're going to be at Mo Party. Timothy Russell says, thanks for having me live on my birthday. You're welcome. Happy birthday. Glad to help. Tales from the Junkyard says, finally caught one of these live sessions and I'm late. Dang it. That will happen. That guy's here, but he's like way out of frame. He's like all the way. Yeah, there's a hand over there. He and I were doing dumb stuff, making a video today. It was very dumb. Alan's Cars and Stuff says, my friend has a 71 Imperial LeBaron 440. He's trying to find a 9-inch Midland Ross tandem brake booster for a 4-bolt master cylinder. Do you know where to get one? I don't even know what that means. So no. You can try Tom Hergert, Tom at rockyresto.com. Maybe he knows. But I have no idea. Weird kind of sex symbol says, I got curious and looked in the factory service manual for my swept line. It does not list 904. If I recall correctly, the FSM for my A van did list 904. That would make sense, but I don't know. Again, I don't know on that. Donnie says, with the sunglasses on, you look like Bob Ross and Roy Orbison's kid. What do you usually get? Sideshow Bob? Oh, the Unabomber. Someone in the comments called you the Unabomber, and someone else called you a different murderer. I don't remember. I don't remember. It's really good, though. It was hilarious. Tales from the Junkyard says, what timing curve would you recommend for an 8-to-1 compression 318 with J heads and a 340 cam? 8-to-1. Yeah. J heads, that's your problem. I don't know. Probably 34 all in or 32 all in, and 18 to 22 base, something like that. Is that a 16-degree spread? What?
That much base for 340 cam?
Yeah, maybe not that much. What do you think? 12 to 14?
Yeah.
Colin says 12 to 14 base for the stock 340 cam. Yeah, you're probably right. That relatively stock, yeah, but you don't want 5 to 35. Yeah, so let's go with that then. Something like 12 to 14-ish base and somewhere in the 34 neighborhood total. It's probably close.
I usually shoot for 10 base, and whatever I get on top is
Yeah.
usually too much.
You probably can't hear him, but he says shoot for 10 base and take whatever you can get on top, and it's worked really well for him because it's usually too much. And he does routinely get very good fuel economy in these cars, so that might be a good tip. I got all the wrong parts, but it's what I got. Gotcha. Well, it can work. But again, you know, the compressions and the port velocity. But yeah. Bell James says the lean burn is going away. I have the direct connection kit to replace it, but I'm thinking I want to make performance upgrades at the same time. That takes money and parts gathering. All in good time, Reginald. Just Mopar Joe is here again. Nice. And says, thanks for sharing my cam video, Jamie. It's turned into a ringer for me. I bet it has. I'm sure it has. You know, people, I got a lot of responses to mine. It was similar, but you had some different things to say. And because it's something I've talked about a lot on the channel, I thought it would be a good idea to share yours for more information. Yeah, nice. Cool. Looking pretty good, man. It's a winner. It was good info. I'm all about the good info. And I'm not like jealous or anything. Whoever's got the good info is who I'm going to say, listen to that guy. So, yeah. Nicely done. Dan Tupper is out and says, good night, all. Hope you have a great week. I want to run through the last few comments here. My sister says, look at that fluffy guy. He left. He's over there. Too lazy to. Yeah. Corn dog in the window and cocaine spiders. What could be next? I don't know. A lot. The world's our oyster. Oysters! Not oysters. I tried to shoot her once. I'll never do it again. Just Mopar Joe also says, I just got a new ABS2 for the Ram Charger. Yep. That is the way. Aaron Lutz says 800 CFM ABS2 on my 420 stroker. Nice. We're about to put a smaller one on the 440 in that wagon because torque and low RPM performance. Bigfoot lives. Yeah, but he's the Unabomber, Bigfoot. Okay, Rocket Tom is pretty sure he's got that booster. So Tom at rocketresto.com. Hit him up there. Oh, yeah, the Pronto Pup. Pronto Pup corn dog started in 41 in Garibaldi, Oregon. I love the Pronto Pup, and I've never even been there, but I've driven by many times. Bell James is out because it's very late in Oklahoma. Have a good night, and we will see you later. I can do Hey Joe, but I'll definitely get another copyright strike. There's no question of that. And on an acoustic, just I don't know. Hot Dog says hi. And he's dead. Tiny likes edibles. Yes, we've heard. Tales from the junkyard. Oh, thanks. I'll try the timing advice. Also, I should mention I'm running Atomic EFI with timing control. Nice. So the nice thing there is you can endlessly tune it. You know, if those numbers don't work for you, dial in a bit more. I'm assuming in the Atomic you've got obviously idle, cruise, and then probably a power setting as well. So you can kind of tweak those numbers. Cruise, you might want, mid 30s or even higher. Power, you probably don't. So it's nice to have those options. It's really cool. You can endlessly tweak that curve, and it's so much easier than the old-fashioned way, which, again, as I said, there are points for these EFI systems. That is one. The tunability is great. It's just that, will that Atomic system still be working in 30 years? Don't know. We'll see. Just Mopar Joe can't tell us how hard his car ran until after the No Name Nationals. Boatload of videos to drop at the end of September. Now, if Jamie will fly into Little Rock, Arkansas, I'll pick him up for the weekend event. Damn it, that sounds awesome. But because of this whole other crazy operation I've got going on next weekend, just play one of your songs. Easy enough for you to say. I can't even remember my songs. Oh, Mr. PF Flyer just checked out and subscribed to Just Mopar Joe. Awesome. Good call. Super great, down-to-earth dude with tons of cool builds and great information, which I'm just all about. So, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, anyway, I guess I'll just spill the beans now for all the long haulers that are still here. I'm flying to Chicago next weekend, and I'm driving a car home. And I think it's going to be cool. I'm pretty sure it'll be cool, but we'll see. It's not one of those revivals. I'm not doing the Derek thing. I'm living my dreams. I'm doing what I want to do, which is drive Chargers across the country. So yeah, bull crap. No, seriously, you put me on the spot. Play one of your songs. I've written hundreds, but I can't think of any of them right now except the one I did earlier. Also, most of what I write is like, blues rock with an electric guitar. So yeah, it's a problem. Anyway, someday I would very much like to fly into Little Rock, Arkansas, and we can do something cool. Let's plan on that. Rich Jordan is out. Ciao, Rich Jordan. We'll see you later. I'd very much like to take him up on that. I just can't be gone for another whole weekend operation. Play that one about ham and plaster. Nice. I can't. Oh, that's almost right. There it is. It's really hard to do. There it is. No, I don't know that one. Parked by the BTP and need a guitar man for the bonfire and beers. I really wish I could do that. Sounds like a party. Yeah. If anyone here doesn't know Just Mopar Joe, Dan does. And, a couple people have gone over and subscribed. You should do that. Again, great channel. I can't stress that enough. Electric blues for the win. Yeah, but out here on the deck, I've only got my acoustic. I have like a whole recording studio right there, but I haven't gone in it for like a month due to fleas. But luckily, the season is changing. Oh, weird kind of sex symbol will be in CLE while you're in CHC. Interesting. Wish I could stuff a 360 and a set of Dutra duels on the plane. Yeah, I wish you could too. Play the one about bitches and whiskey. Which one of them isn't about bitches and whiskey? Welcome to Dead Dodge Garage Live, where people request my songs that I don't play anymore. Email landed in my inbox. Order a new Mercedes-Benz today. Yeah, right. I wouldn't if I could. Gave it a go. Night Rooster. Take it easy. I don't think I'm going through Wisconsin, and I'm probably just going to be hitting it. So unfortunately, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going that. I think we're going that way, but we'll see. We will see. Aaron Letts has been watching Just Mopar Joe for years. I've only known about him for maybe 6 months or so, but yeah, cool. And only because someone said that if my engine didn't make more horsepower than his engine, that it was pointless. I need the drum machine. The Nina, the Pita, the Santa Maria. I am not going to do that. My sister loves the one about Sunny D and bourbon. It wasn't Sunny D, was it? I am going to Chicago and I think down 90. Yes, allegedly. That is maybe the plan unless things change. I'm not sure. I'd like to go to Mo Party, but I don't think I have the time. Yes, I've heard that. I've got your number. Don't spoil the surprise. Hey, Jamie, winter's right around the corner here in Iowa. When it gets cold as shit, what we do is order parts and drink whiskey. Goddamn winter lasts too long. I'm stocking up on whiskey. Well, keep at it, Cal the Destroyer. Keep the faith. If you're going to be in Boise on the way back, I'll gladly buy you lunch. Oh, that sounds great. Is that on I-90? If it's on I-90, I'll probably be there unless I'm not. Shoot me an email, jamienoise@gmail.com. If you're along I-90 and you're free next weekend and you want to buy me lunch or a cider or something, shoot me an email. Okay. Political song for Michael. I don't know that. I'll play one of my songs. I've played it on the channel before, I think. I feel like I've done it better than this. All Class 6 restorations will save me a chair. If it happens, I'll gladly take it. Thank you. Been living in a shadow. It took a while to find the light. It struck me like an arrow. It hit me like a drunken night. My love is a bank robber. My love is a vampire. First they come, then they go. Tell me something I don't know. Hit the like button. Thanks, Joe. What's the next verse? Given thought to conforming, it's a shape I never fit it right. It happens every morning. It comes around and then it goes each night. My love is a bank robber. My love is a vampire. First they come, then they go. Tell me something I don't know. There you go. That one's on SoundCloud. All right, guys. I think it's about that time. Yeah. Gets to the point in every video, loves Mopars, and plays guitar. Shit doesn't get better than this. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Nice. Excellent news. Weird Kind of Sex Symbol says best Mopar channel out here. Okay, I'm not going to claim it, but I do appreciate the compliment. Thanks for that. Take it easy, folks. Mopar Dude says when you pass through Janesville, Wisconsin on 90, wave and think this is Mopar Dude country. Awesome. I will make sure to do that. Thank you very much. Aaron Lutz brought out the bass to jam. Nice. Cool. Thanks, everybody. I'll call this a successful live stream. And now it's really weirdly quiet. So I'm going to call it a night and get some food. We'll see you later. Next week, maybe. And in the comments section. Early warning, I might not stream next weekend because I'll be driving. But if okay, I don't know that. But I like it in theory. Next weekend, I'll be on the road. So I don't promise to live stream, but I might just pull over for a couple hours. We'll see how things are going and what the service is like. Until then, take care. And I'll see you in the comments. Jesus. Bye-bye now.